So today I'm going to show you how to make two very effective bushcraft squirrel snares. Let's get to it. What we need to do is we need to find a stick that's the right size that we can tie our snare wire to, and then we can also poke in the ground. So I've walked around and I found this, and this is actually going to be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to notch one up here for my wire to go in, and then shave a point on the bottom, and then we're going to have our actual stick we're going to use for the snare. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around here and just make a little insert all the way around. Nothing big, just one so it'll catch right here. As you can see, I just shaved off that end part. So now we got that part done, and now I just need to come and I need to shave it into a point here. So I've got it shaved into the point, and that's going to go into the ground nicely, and that's about the right size that I want. So once you've got the stick and you got your point and you got a little notch here, now we can go ahead and we can tie the snare wire. Now, what I've been asked is a lot of people know how to do it with actual snare wire, but not very many people know how to do it with paracord. So we're gonna show you how to do it with paracord here. So what I want to do, and usually when I got my paracord, now this is standard 550 paracord, I like to get about 3 hand lengths, 2, 3, and about right there is where I'm going to cut it. Now some people like to go a little bit longer, but what I've found in catching squirrels, that's about all you need. So once I got that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the guts, because I want to use just one of these right here, one of the inner strands. It's going to be all you need to be able to snare a squirrel or a small rabbit. So now that I've got that pulled out, what I want to do is I want to just make a loop right here. Basically, I'm going to make a little knot. Pull that through. So I got the knot, and I'm just going to put it over the edge and bring it right down to the spot I cut down here in the bottom, just to hold it in place. Then I'm just going to pull it tight. So now I've got that pulled. It's pulled tight. I've got the end to go down, so now I can worry about just setting the loop or setting the snare part that's going to help us get our squirrel for dinner. So again, what I want to do, and you usually want to make these about a fist width. So about a fist, that's about the right size to get a squirrel head in there or a rabbit, then it's going to tighten on them. So now I've got this squirrel, or I've got this fist, I'm going to tie it in a knot right there. So I got that loop on there, and you can see it's able to slide. So when the squirrel or the rabbit goes through there, it's going to tighten on them, and effectively it's basically going to choke them. It's going to suffocate them, and then you're going to have your dinner. So that is a very simple way to set up a snare. Now I have caught squirrels on this 550 paracord, and I have caught it on just one. As you can see, boy, this is tough getting off even my hand. I have caught it just on one of the strands, so it is very doable to catch it on one of the strands. So there's the preface. I've got the stick over here, I got the snare there. As you can see, it's going to tighten up good. So now we just need to find a spot where there's good traffic, and where there's good traffic, we're just going to put this in there, hammer it down, use some other sticks to hold it, and hopefully catch us some dinner. So right here is a good spot. There's a tree there, and you can see a little walkway all the way through this tree over here. And there's a lot of half-eaten nuts on the ground here. So it looks like they come through this place really good, a really high traffic area. So here is where I'm going to set it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear some of this out, make a nice little walkway there. Then I'm going to take my snare that I made. I'm going to put it in here. Use the back of my my knife here to hammer it in. There we go. That's nice and tight. And then I'm going to have the snare part hanging right here to get through this walkway that we're talking about. So we're just going to take a few little sticks and use that as props. So got my stick here. I've got my lever here held up by 2 little branches, and I've piled sticks around, and this is a natural walkway, so when they do, they're going to walk right through, they're going to hit it, and it's going to pull tight, and you're going to have a choke. Now, I've used this setup many times. As you can see, it's well camouflaged here. I've got my loop right where I want it, low. You want it about a fist down here, and you want it a few finger lengths from there. And if you get it like that, you get a small squirrel walking through there, you're guaranteed dinner. Because like I said, once they go through there, and once they pull that side, it's going to tighten, and it's going to hang them. And they're going to try to get out, and you can see that's in there pretty good. They're not going to be able to. So just a simple way to set snares. Now this setup here is going to take you maybe 10 minutes. So just one inner strand of those paracord, you can get 5 of these traps set up, and that's very good. You know, if you've got 5 out there, you're probably going to get 1. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I double down and how I actually use a fishing yo-yo to also set a trap. Okay, now that we got our one made out of paracord, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a yo-yo to do another snare. And the thing I like about the yo-yos, as you know here, the little fishing yo-yos, is you just get it to where you want it, you lock it in, and then when something comes and it gets its head caught, it yanks on it, it automatically tightens and snares it for you, and you don't have to worry about creating the mechanism of it. It's already done. So one thing you want to do with this is you want to find a tree that's hanging over, and if the tree is not hanging over, or a limb's not hanging over, what you can actually do is tie some paracord from one tree to the next to get it to where you can put this up in the center and hang it down. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, we're in the same area, and let me show you here. 2 trees, but there's not really something hanging down here to where I can get over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a paracord from here to here, hang it down, get it into this nice walkway that they're coming from that tree that's way over there all the way back to this other tree, and we're going to do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I want to go low because I don't want it to be real high on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, make a top knot, throw it down, kind of make a loop, and then tighten it in there like that. And the reason I'm using this is because it's earthy tones, it's natural tones, and I'll cut this off, and so that white's not there. But this just helps, gives you that extra little barrier because they can't see it, so it just might help you catch something. So now let's go ahead and tie this, string it to the other tree, and then we'll get our trap set up. I've got that set, putting good pressure on there so it's not going to go anywhere. So let's go ahead and get it set up now. As you can see, I'm not too far from the ground. This is about a 2-foot stick, so that's about all I am for the ground. What I want to do is I want to now set up my yo-yo. Now what I like about the yo-yos is they have holes up here already, so it makes it easy to tie something in, tie it off. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it off around here, make it good and solid, so when the squirrel or the rabbit gets in there, he won't bust it off, and we won't have lost the mill. So I've got that in there, and this is what I'm going to tie up here to secure it up here. Okay, I've got that up here, ready to go. Now I just need to set the actual trap part, and we'll get to it there. So I want to kind of gauge and see how far it is to the ground. Get it to the ground, and then make my loop. And on this, here, let's go ahead and lock this in place. I can always adjust it later. Now I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm just going to make a little noose on the end here. So wrap it around and through. All right, so I got my noose. As you can see, you can tighten it or loosen it. So I got that in there. And now I just want to figure out where I want it, how big I want it. Like I said, you want it about a fist's width. So that's about a fist's width. And I want it about a fist off the ground. So what I want to do is I want to put it to where I'm about right here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this and pop it. Now as you can see, I've got it there. I've got a stick here and a stick here to keep it wide. I've got the trigger here with the yo-yo tied to the paracord up here. So what's going to happen is when a squirrel comes through, puts its head through there, it's going to lock, and then this is automatically going to pull up like that, and you're going to hang them. Now I'm pulling down pretty hard on here, and it's tight around me. This isn't going, so I know without a doubt that's going to get them. And that's why I like these yo-yos, because it has that mechanism that's going to lock it up. So if you don't want to take the time to make sure that you can get the right string, the right cordage, and you just want to get something that's got the built-in spring, these yo-yos are great. I got a pack of 7 of them. So what I might do is put 4 or 5 using the paracord, the sticks I showed you, and then use 4 or 5 of these yo-yos to snare it. And it, boy, it's gonna work. It'll get it. I've caught several of them. And if you've got 9, 10 traps out, that's gonna take you a total of about an hour, you're guaranteed to probably catch something. And there you go. Pretty simple, effective ways to snare yourself a squirrel or a rabbit. Done it several times. It works. Easy to learn. If you know how to tie a noose and a loop and just a top knot, you're going to be able to get it done. So I hope this taught you something. If you got value, hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe, and as always, remember, prepare, survive, and thrive.